Thanks to Pokemon Go, Pokemania is sweeping the world again. The free-to-play mobile game from Niantic and the Pokemon Company has players scouting the real world, capturing and collecting cartoon critters with a swipe of their smartphone. It has roared to the top of the Android and iOS stores in the US and has apparently added a staggering $6 billion to Pokemon Company owners Nintendo's share price. Quite the feat for a game that isn't even out everywhere yet. If you're not aware of the Pokemon phenomenon, chances are you might be a bit baffled by talk of a man catching a Pidgey while his wife gave birth, or players trekking for miles to bag a rare Sandshrew at a police station. So for the curious and those looking to get in on the craze, here is everything you need to know about Pokemon Go. What is Pokemon anyway? Created by Satoshi Tajiri in 1995 due to his love of insect collecting, Pokemon started life as a video game for Nintendo's Game Boy in which players would roam a fantasy land, catching Pokemon, pocket monsters, and training them in battles against other Pokemon trainers across the world. The original games were an instant success, spawning a wildly popular media empire that covers video games, trading cards, comics, films, cartoons, and toys. A new mainline Pokemon game, Sun and Moon, is out later this year. Smartly designed and wildly varied, Pokemon are classed on their type, be it Grass-type Bulbasaur, the fiery Charizard, or the electric poster Pokemon Pikachu, and rarity. There are now 740 different species of Pokemon to catch across 2 decades worth of games and remains one of the most treasured and popular properties in games. According to the Pokemon Company, the franchise has grossed $40.5 billion worldwide. It's kind of a big deal. Okay, so what's Pokemon Go? Pokemon Go is an augmented reality geotagging game for your smartphone. You take the role of a trainer and catch Pokemon that appear in the real world. The GPS on your phone places a map on screen and different species pop up nearby. Once you've traveled to the area a Pokemon is hiding out, you simply tap on the creature on the map and the camera on your phone renders it into the environment. So you might find a drowsy bumbling around your local train station, or an oddish while walking the dogs, or a Zubat anywhere. Blooming Zubats. You then must catch the Pokemon by taking aim and throwing a Pokeball at it. Some species are more difficult to capture than others, as they bounce around the sofa, oven, supermarket shelf, and you have a finite number of Pokeballs to use. Once you've earned enough experience as a trainer, you can then go to a nearby Pokemon gym, indicated as a colored tower on the map, to battle and power up your Pokemon. Is it any good? It's early days and there are definitely teething problems. Servers are sketchy, partly due to the unexpected popularity. It is currently light on features and is a terrible battery hog. That said, there is a definite allure to traveling the real world and hunting out your favorite Pokemon. While we perhaps don't need another reason to be glued to our phone screens, the active nature of Pokemon Go can encourage people to get out of the house and go for a stroll. There are even heartwarming reports of people meeting up at Pokestops and forging real-life friendships. While there are plenty of them around towns and cities, and populated areas are rife with Pokestops, Pokemon like hiding out in grass and water too, so it's a nice chance to get out in the country. Okay, I'm interested. How do I get it? Pokemon Go is available on the App Store for iPhone and Android and is now officially available in the UK. How much does it cost? Pokemon Go is free to play, meaning you can download the app at no charge and get started. However, there are microtransactions in the game, allowing you to pay real-world cash in exchange for Pokecoins to spend on in-game items. So far, we have played Pokemon Go for a good few hours and never felt the need to spend any money. But the option to pay to accelerate your progress is there. Can I trade Pokemon with friends? Not yet, although the Pokemon Company says that is coming in an update. Any tips for beginners? Use the tracker. Possibly the most important tool in Pokemon Go is the Nearby tracker. Click on the small bar in the bottom right of the screen to call up any nearby Pokemon. Critters you have found before will show in full, but new Pokemon will be indicated by a silhouette. Check how far your chosen quarry is via the amount of footprints and get on the move. If you're heading in the right direction, the amount of footprints will drop. Good use of the tracker will bolster your collection in no time. Visit Pokestops regularly. It's always worth dropping by Pokestops, local landmarks like train stations, signs, shops indicated with a blue marker on the map to restock your Pokeballs. They're not infinite, but you will always find a handful at a local landmark to keep your stock healthy. Lucky eggs are also common at Pokestops, which you can use to boost your XP. And you never know, you might find something even better if you're really fortunate. To use the Pokestop, visit the blue icon on the map and once the box changes to a Pokemon symbol, tap on it. Then spin the picture in the middle to claim your loot. One handy hint for Pokestops is that if you are traveling by car or train and see Pokestops coming up, call up the icon and start spinning ahead of time. Once you're close enough, you'll immediately activate the loot drop as you whiz by. Aim true. Once you find a Pokemon, you will still have to catch them. Once the critter is rendered into the environment, a reticule appears over it. The moving reticule is your timing gauge and difficulty indicator. Green is an easy catch, yellow medium, red hard. The higher level a Pokemon, the more Pokeballs you might have to use to finally trap it. When aiming, once the reticule is at its smallest, that's your best chance for a successful capture. Swipe your finger towards the Pokemon to hit it with a Pokeball. If you circle your finger around the ball before you throw, you can put a bit of spin on it for bonus points and showing off. Good throws get you bonus XP and means you use less Pokeballs, so take your time. Also, while it's slightly less cool, if you turn off the R effect that renders the Pokemon into the environment, they will stay still on your screen. Particularly useful if you're catching on the move. Look out for leaves. You'll notice fluttering foliage icons on the map at certain times. This indicates there is potentially a rarer Pokemon snuffling in that area. Go find out. Incubate those eggs as well as Pokeballs and potions. You'll pick up eggs at Pokestops. You can then nurse them into hatching by popping them in your incubators and going for a walk. Different eggs take longer than others, so you might be able to hatch a new Pokemon after 2 kilometers or 10 kilometers. Though the effort on those longer should be worth it. To incubate an egg, you'll find the ones you've collected in the Pokemon tab on your options. Tap on one and choose an incubator. Then get moving. Oh, and don't think you can just hop on a train to cover the distance. The game will know if you're moving too fast. Click here for a full guide to incubating and hatching eggs. Power-up and evolutions. One of the main appeals of the game is training up your Pokemon and having them evolve into bigger, more capable creatures. In Pokemon Go, you can power up by giving your finds Stardust, which comes with every Pokemon capture. Evolutions are triggered by offering a certain amount of candy associated with that species. You collect candy by capturing that particular species, so make sure you bag every Pokemon you see. While you might get a bit fed up of seeing Pidgeys everywhere, capture enough and you'll have candy to evolve one into a Pidgeotto. Only choose a handful of champion Pokemon to work on, and certainly only one of each species. And you'll have Pokemon powerful enough to rule the roost at your local gym when you take them into battle. Go here to see our full guide to best using your hard-earned candy. Go collecting in different areas at different times of the day. Some Pokemon are more active at different times of the day, so you might have more luck catching nocturnal species in the evening. Different types of Pokemon also inhabit different areas. The game pays attention to the topography on the map, countryside, water, buildings, so if you want a Magikarp, and who doesn't, then you're better off hunting by the lake. In both instances, be careful when tracking Pokémon. Combine items for big gains. Incense items makes you pungent to Pokémon, meaning you will attract more critters for 30 minutes while you're out and about. To really make the most of your half hour, combine incense with a lucky egg to gain an XP boost from your extra captures. Here is our full guide to items, collectibles and unlocks. Look out for lure modules. A lure module is an item that can be used at Pokestops to attract special Pokémon to that area. You can set one off yourself, but the twist here is that anyone playing nearby can reap the benefits of an active lure. A Pokestop with a lure enabled will sparkle purple, so you are likely to find some other trainers playing nearby and you should grab yourself a decent catch. This is the game's most social aspect, with reports of scores of trainers flocking to popular Pokestops when a lure is enabled. It is a lot of fun, but another feature to be careful of. Which brings us to safety tips. Please be careful playing Pokémon Go. It is a game which combines the real world and technology in a smart and compelling way, and its potential to get people moving and meet up with like-minded people is largely a very good thing. However, caution should be paid to certain aspects. Always watch where you are going when tracking a Pokémon on your map and be aware of your surroundings. Police are issuing warnings for people to keep eyes off their phones when crossing the street. Mind your battery. We're not joking when we say Pokémon Go is a hungry game. It drains battery quicker than almost any app we've seen. You can switch on battery saver in the settings, but make sure you do it every time you turn the app on. Last thing you want is to go on an epic trek to a new area and find your phone without power. Check your security settings. Whether by accident or design, Pokémon Go seems to give the app full access to your Google account when you sign in via that method. You can revoke that access by visiting your privacy settings on your Google account page. You should be wary of active lures at Pokestops. The story of a gang using the feature to rob players carrying expensive smartphones at gunpoint sounds like an extreme case, but there is the danger of the feature of such a popular game being abused. Common sense is the best course. Do not go to some secluded backstreet Pokestop in the middle of the night. That Jigglypuff can wait.